The Great Indian Wedding. So that's one of the biggest mistake a working class population can do. It's a $30 billion industry, and let's see what we can learn from it. Welcome to Askraghulan. Thank you for all the love and support. If you like my videos, subscribe to the channel. And this video is sponsored by armorado.com. You can find a lot of cool products into it. If you're doing traveling, touring, trekking, adventure sport, you might find the products there. And that's actually built my members of my another YouTube channel and actually made them as a co-founder. I invested some money on it. My channel's goal is actually to build a million entrepreneurs, not to build a million subscribers. So check it out there. The Great Indian Wedding, a $30 billion industry. We stand next to United States as a country which conducts more wedding and spend more amount of money. We spend on average, like a household on a wedding, spending around like $15,000, and that is close to almost like 13 lakh rupees. That's a huge money for a working class to spend it, because that is a big amount of money they spend on an event for their entire life. You might actually say that, okay, wow, Raghulan, wedding is actually contributing to the Indian economy, and which is a good thing. It is definitely good for the economy, but definitely not good for your family, not good for your future generation as well. So let's look into that. And there is a saying called old Greek fat wedding. Greeks used to have like a very elaborate celebration for wedding, runs for a few days and things like that. That term came into picture not because they spent a lot of money on the wedding. It's about they spent a time together. They spent a tradition where everyone worked together, played together and things like that. I'm going to actually take you back in time. So like probably around 25 years or something like that, when I was a very little kid. I'm going to show you how the wedding was like around that time. That was like a time where the wedding used to happen on weekdays. Now, if you look at it, most of the weddings happens on a weekends, because if you keep it on a weekday, no one's going to come for it, because they're not going to actually take an LOP and they're not going to apply for leave and come for it. Most of the weddings happens on the weekends, and that is why if you go and ask for any marriage halls, most of the weekends are already booked. Weekdays are actually cheaper, but it's just no one's going to come. I'm going to take you back in time. This is almost like 30 years, 25 years or something like that, when I was a very little kid. We bunked school, we went there, we were so excited and so happy because plenty of cousins came there, and like we all played cricket, plenty of cricket. We sat all night and then we talked stories and we had so much fun, and we played cards and we did a lot of those things. And that is when trump cards were like pretty famous. All wrestling trump cards used to be pretty famous. At the same time, women all sat and talked together. There used to be a lot of laughter that used to keep hearing around the time. All those 4 days, it used to be a lot of fun. They make all nice sweets. We used to eat all that, nice dresses and jewelries, and men used to go and prepare it. They used to be pretty busy. They arrange for the wedding. Everything is done by family members, from the place that they decorated for the marriage event, and food is prepared. People used to hire utensils, like the big utensils, and then they actually cook it at home, behind home or something like that. There is not even like catering companies who used to do it. They all came popular after like probably 20 years ago or something like that. Before that, it used to be people used to do it on their own. So they cook everything, and then they go to the temple and they conduct the wedding, and then there used to be sort of like a place where people come together and they have food, sit and talk, and the time goes by like that. And that is a time where every relative contribute to the wedding. So these days, if you ask your relative to do any work in your wedding, they're not going to do it. That's very common. Also, that created is basically every relative have a responsibility towards this couple's goals. So that means like if the couples are actually fighting, or if they're actually going towards a divorce, which is very uncommon for any families coming from that side of time. But now what happens is, like if the couples are fighting, every relative will actually feel little upset. We'll see like, okay, I spent my time there. I worked for this wedding. I really want these kids to be really happy. Now, why are they actually fighting? And let me go and talk to them. And then they'll come really, and they'll spend time. They actually travel from a long distance. They'll come and they'll actually sit and talk. They'll ask me like, why you are fighting? You both kids have a very good future. I want you guys to be very happy. Then why you are fighting? And then people really have that. They are really upset. They're really upset that you are upset. But these days, like if you are doing pretty well, and especially if you're doing pretty well compared to another relative, they're not going to feel upset. They're going to feel jealous. That jealousy is pretty common these days. Why is that changed to this one? And why I should be happy about a $30 billion industry? Family comes first, guys. Of course, I love my country and whatever that is there. But the thing is, like, I don't want to ruin my family, ruin my culture. I want my relatives to be like that. I want my relatives to be someone who's like a well-wisher to me, rather than to be a competitor. We changed them to be a competitor with these type of modern weddings now. We spent a lot of money, of course. The invitation is around like 10,000 rupees per invitation. And the food has like around 40 different dishes. And the food is very expensive. And we show a lot of events of people dancing and all that sort of stuff. But people, the relatives, your own blood relatives who come to the wedding, they don't really participate in the wedding. They have no room for participation, even if they want to. And also, even participating looks little cringy, like that is how people think that why this guy is doing overaction or something like that. Because that is how a normal thing have become pretty out of ordinary. And that is pretty sad as well. Now, what happens with that? Happily spend that $15,000, which is like around 13 lakhs. And what you're going to get out of it. People are not going to feel happy that, okay, you are able to spend this amount of money and things like that. People just going to feel jealous, first thing. And second thing is like, your relatives will never be part of your wedding ceremony. They just came for an event. They just came for a show. They just came for entertainment. And they just came because like you're doing well in life. And if you are pretty poor, and if you conduct a wedding in a much smaller place, and if you're not going to give proper food, no one is going to come. And that is the truth and reality. Also, like even us, when we actually give any gift or anything like that to our relative, we give a very good gift for a relative who does very well. For a relative who's actually very poor, we give them gift for their proportion to their status. Technically, it should be opposite. A guy who's actually doing very well, he should get a very minimal gift, and then all the relatives should support the guy who is actually struggling in life. But we treat differently. But this is exactly what you're gonna get as well. You might actually happily spend 13 lakhs today, and you might actually think that, okay, I made all my relatives very happy. Now after 6 months or something, and if your business is going in loss, or if you lost your job and you're not able to pay for the house EMI or for the school fees or something, if you go to those relatives who you gave a very fat wedding, and then you tell them that, oh no, I'm struggling in life, can you give me 60,000 rupees? And now those guys, rather than giving money, they'll give a very big lecture. So like, this is why you shouldn't be spending all this money, you should have saved this money. They'll give that lecture. But that is in fact true. So why do you need to spend that sort of money? Your wedding should be a place where you're joining hands with another person to spend rest of your life. It's a companionship, and with the person who should be present there is a person who should see you happy, who should see you accomplish those goals. And if that person is coming because you're giving a very grand wedding, and then you're giving in a very nice place, and you're giving a lot of entertainment and things like that, and that is not the person who you want to be part of your the most important event in your life. So technically, if someone is not interested to come for a very poor wedding, those are the people who's not going to be part of any portion of your life where you're going to be poor. Just think about it, guys. So you're spending money on people who are not going to be really happy that if you go in life, and they're not going to come and help you when you are going to be poor in life. So think about it. So I think this $30 billion industry is not actually helping India. Maybe helping India in terms of economy, but it is not helping Indians. Indians should actually focus on having weddings where people should actually come and be part of it. People should create memories with that, not just photos that we're not going to look back again. Okay, maybe we'll catch up again in another video, guys. And if you have any difference of opinion, just put it in the comment section. We'll learn from each other. Thank you so much, and cheers.